Hello. Hello.
No.
Graham, good afternoon. Good to see you.
Afternoon.
This time last week we were sat in a press conference talking about home form and Brighton not having a marquee win this season to really kind of give the fans something to celebrate. You certainly delivered that with the game against Manchester United. Has that shown, not just in one game, but what this football club has done in terms of progression and where you're at moving forward?
Well, I don't think one game necessarily shows you that. I think it's a good day for us. We played well. The scoreline talks for itself. I think over the season, 47 points after making a couple of big sales along the way. I think the style of play has developed in terms of how we want to play. Young players of starting out in the Premier League and getting more games in the Premier League. I think we've used the academy over the time. So I think the progress has been there over a period. And sometimes in football you have good days, and that weekend was a good one.
The end to the season, very different to your previous two seasons because you've been in the top half of the table, you've not been looking over your shoulder or worrying about relegation. How much have you been able to enjoy this last phase of the season yourself and sort of not have that threat of relegation on your shoulder?
Well, I can't lie, it's more comfortable. I still don't think you necessarily enjoy. Enjoy is a word, needs to define that, because there's always games and there's always things you have to solve and there's always trouble round the corner, and we have to prepare well. We have to make sure we're ready for Ellen Road. We're not relaxing anymore. We're trying to finish off the season as strongly as we can. So, but at the same time, I think you can also be happy with what we've done so far. Like I said, 47 points, that's a record we've ever had. We want to add to the total. It's exciting, but 2 games to go.
You touched on Ellen Road. What's the team news for the Leeds game this weekend?
Well, Enoch did a little bit with the group today, but it'll become too soon for him. Jeremy's making good progress, but still away. So I think we'll pretty much have the same group that we had for Manchester United.
And in terms of Leeds, clearly going through a challenging time at the moment in the bottom 3 of the Premier League, how do you assess them as a team, their strengths, their weaknesses, and of course the fact that they're losing Dan James and Luke Hayden, 2 key players for them, is going to play into your hands?
Well, I think the thing to say is it's Ellen Road, the last home game of the season for them, last chance for them to support the team. So we're expecting a hostile, tough, challenging environment. I think you can see what Jesse's trying to do. They've had 3 games against top teams, in fairness, which can knock you away a little bit. But you can see what they're trying to do. They've had some good results as well. So the things that you associate with Leeds, I think, are still there in terms of the intensity, in terms of how they want to get the ball back and how they want to attack quickly. So it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a tough match. We're looking forward to it.
Have you had to speak to your team about the noise, the atmosphere, the fans, because they're such a big factor at Ellen Road? How do you sort of prepare them for that? How do you train with that?
Well, you have to make them aware, of course, because you don't want to just walk in and what's going on here. I think we expect, like I said, a hostile game. We expect aggression. We expect all that, because obviously Leeds are fighting for their lives, and the supporters are going to be, trying to help them as much as they can. So it's up to us to try to change that narrative and make it more difficult for them. But it's going to be a test, and like I said, the guys are looking forward to it. It's a good game for us. It's not like we're playing against another team with nothing to play for, if you like. We're in a real good fight against a team fighting for their lives, and we have to make sure we go there and perform well.
Would Leeds be a loss to the Premier League if they were relegated?
Yeah, of course, yeah. But I think every team in their own way is a loss. That's the beauty of the competition. But I have a lot of respect for Leeds United as a football club and what they've achieved recently and their history in general. So But no, we can't think about that. We have to just focus on the game and focus on performing well and trying to get the 3 points ourselves.
The shortlist for Premier League Manager of the Season has been announced. Jurgen, Pep, Thomas Frank, Patrick Vieira and Eddie Howe. Unfortunately, my opinion means nothing, but I'm surprised you're not in that list because of what you've achieved with Brighton this season and the progression that they've made. What do you make to the list?
It's the first I've heard, so it's just, they're all 5, is it 5 you said? 5 top guys, 5 top managers, so I wish them well in the final reckoning.
You know how difficult it is to be a Premier League manager. Who would be your choice out of that 5?
I want to keep that anonymous, thank you very much. Nice try though.
Thanks very much, Graham.
No problem.
Hi, Graham.
Hello.
Talked before about it being a hostile environment when you go out to Leeds, and you mentioned the players that have been sent off. Can all that work in your favour? Is that something you can make work for you and say, look, lads, these guys have lost their heads a couple of times in the last couple of matches? Is that something you can maybe get under their skin and work in your favour?
No, I didn't mention anybody getting sent off. I think that was your putting words into.
It's been mentioned.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you expect it. There's teams fighting for their lives. They're doing everything they can to stay in the Premier League. They've lost 2 or 3 players with that, and of course, there's a fine line between what we understand is aggression and winning the ball and competing, and then obviously if it goes the other way, then the referee has to act. But we respect what they're trying to do, we respect the game, and we'll go out there and compete and do our best.
Mark asked you before about the progression that you've made and potentially a top half finish and so on. When we look at the teams that are struggling at the bottom, the likes of Everton, the likes of Leeds, two big clubs, and Burnley, who sort of established themselves as well in the Premier League. Is that a lesson to all of you, every club who thinks we're making that progression, that one season, one set of bad runs and one set of bad results, and you can be back down there again?
Well, I think I've said that constantly. If you go over my press conference, I've always said you can talk all you want about finishing in the top 10, but you disrespect this competition at your peril. Whether you have a bad run, you have injuries, whether things just don't work for whatever reason, then no one has the right, apart from probably about 6 teams, to be in this competition, I would say. So everybody finds it hard. Everybody's points are hard to come by, and that's why I'm happy with the team and the club and what we've achieved this year. Because, like I said, we haven't had a straightforward one. We've missed key players for big periods at a time, which you would think would knock somebody like a club like us off. But we've managed to carry on. Like I said, 2 big sales over 2 windows, which allows us to carry on developing the team and the club. There's a lot of good things that we're happy about. Of course, always room for improvement, but generally quite satisfied.
Just talking about Leeds and Jesse Marsh, if they were to go down, a lot of people looking at this will say Jesse Marsh took Leeds down. But would it be fair to say the damage was almost already done before he arrived? Bearing in mind he came in and got them on a decent run. They've lost 3 games recently against 3 top sides as well, that's pushing them back down there.
I haven't the information to give you a really in-depth answer there. I would say whenever you get relegated, it's not just one person or 2 people, it's a collective. If that happens, that's what it is. And it's over a 38 games, so work out that what you will.
And just finally from me, and just going back to the whole idea of progression, but just looking back over the last few seasons with Brighton, you've had phases where you've gone long periods without a win, and then you find some form, you win matches. Have you been able to work out why that pattern has happened? And is it something that you've gathered information over those last few years, that perhaps going into next season you can see why those things happen and how you can avert them?
Well, I mean, apart from the fact that it's the Premier League, and to win consistently, apart from maybe Manchester City and Liverpool, isn't so easy to do. I think pretty much everybody's in the same position. So you can look at it 2 ways. You can look at it as a positive or a negative. I mean, we've been consistent. People talk about consistency. We've been quite consistent in terms of the points we've got over 2 years, 41 and 41. That's consistent. It might not be good enough. People have an opinion that we should be doing better. That's up to them, I guess. My point is progress, young players starting in the Premier League, gaining valuable experience, players playing from outside the Premier League coming into the Premier League, gaining valuable experience, growing the football club in terms of the assets on the pitch, And then if you can keep that moving forward, then that's how you can get better results.